Do you ever reach into the fridge to get a cold drink and grab your can and then just wish you could drink right out of it, but you find it too cold? Well, today I'm combining my love of two things, Halloween and crochet, to solve that problem. To start, I'm chaining 31, and we're going to do that pretty loosely because we want to crochet into the back bumps on the next row. And then I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to insert the hook into the first available back bump, which is this one right here. Then we're going to complete a single crochet. We're going to do the same thing into the next back bump, insert the hook, pull up a loop, and complete the single crochet. We're going to continue single crochet all the way down the line until we get to the end. So I'm going to pause the camera here. I'm going to let you catch up, and then we're going to be back to complete row number 2. We're just completing our last back bump in row 1. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn our work. Now we're going to ignore this first chain and we're going to crochet into the first available stitch here, and we're going to do 5 single crochets. Now we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're going to count the stitches. We're going to skip 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, and we're going to single crochet into the 9th stitch. So that's 1 single crochet. We're going to do 4 single crochets in total. So that was the first. Here's the second, third, and fourth. Now we're going to chain 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And again, we're going to skip 8 and single crochet into the 9th. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's count that again. 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, and we're single crocheting into the 9th. And we're going to complete 4 more single crochets to the end of the row. Once again, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn. So from here, we're going to single crochet. We're going to do 5 single crochet, and then we're going to be single crocheting into the chain, so into each stitch of the chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we're going to make a series of decreases. We're going to decrease twice. So we're going to pick up the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. We're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, and complete that single crochet. So that's 1 decrease. We're going to do that again. Into the front loops only, pull up a loop, yarn over, and through 2 loops on the hook. Now we're back to our chain again, and we're going to single crochet across that chain. So another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once you've got your 10 stitches across the chain, you've got another 5 stitches left. You're going to single crochet to the end of the row. And once again, once we get to the end, we're going to chain 1 and turn. There's our chain, and we're turning. I'm single crocheting 12 stitches here. So I'm just approaching my 12th stitch. And now we're going to chain 6. So we're going to count 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, and in the 9th stitch, we're going to single crochet. Then we're going to continue single crochet to the end of the row, so we should have 11 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 11. So let's single crochet to the end of the row. We're going to chain 1 and turn. At the end of the row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. So let's take this opportunity to count our stitches to see what we've got here. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 30. We're going to start decreasing so that we can shape our skull here. And that's because we're going to add a little bit of stuffing. I wanted this to be a little bit three-dimensional. As you can see, we've got shaping there. So we're going to pick our work back up, and we're going to decrease 3. So into the first 2 stitches, we're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, and complete the single crochet. We're going to do that 2 more times. So into the front loop only, pull up a loop, yarn over, and through both loops on the hook. Last one, through the front loops only, pull up a loop, yarn over, and through both loops on the hook. As you can see, that's starting our shaping. So now we're going to crochet 6. So now we're at the chain, and what we want to do is we want to crochet into the back loop only. So we're going to turn the work to face us, and we're going to find that back loop, and we're going to single crochet into each and every back loop of the chain. That's the bridge in the nose. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one's right here. 6. Now you're going back through both loops, and you're going to complete single crochets to the end of the row. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're going to do our 3 decreases. So into the front loop only, and our next decrease again into the front loop only, pull up our loop, yarn over and through all 2 loops. Last one, through the front loops only, pull through our loop, and complete the single crochet. Once again, we're going to chain 1 and turn. As you can see, we're starting to form our shaping here. I have 24 stitches, and for the next 2 rows, we're just going to single crochet. So I'm going to do this off camera. Catch up to me and meet me right back here. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to start a series of decreases. So we're going to decrease the next 3 stitches by crocheting into the front loop of the next 2 stitches, pulling up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 2. This is an invisible decrease, so into the next 2 front loops, pull up a loop, yarn over, through all 2 loops. And the last one. Now we're going to single crochet 2, and we're going to decrease over the next 4 stitches. So that means into the next 2 front loops, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 2. This is our second one. Our third, and our fourth. So we had 8 stitches, we've reduced down to 4. Now we're going to single crochet another 2. And over the next 6 stitches, we're going to decrease 3. So again, into the front loops only of the next 2 stitches, pull through a loop, yarn over, pull through all 2. We're going to do that another 2 times. And once again, we're going to chain and turn. You can see we're starting to form that 3D effect here. It's not just flat. So at the end of this row, we'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 stitches. We're going to single crochet across the row, so we're going to single crochet 14 stitches. I'm going to pause the camera here. I'll let you catch up to me and meet me for the next row. Chain 1 and turn. For row 11, we're going to decrease 3 stitches. So again, into the front loops only. We're going to single crochet 2, And then once again, we're going to decrease 3. Chain 1 and turn. For the next 2 rows, we're going to single crochet, so I'm going to leave you here to complete that and meet me right back here to finish off. At the end of row 12, as always, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to single crochet 3, we're going to increase over the next 2 stitches, so that just means that we're going to single crochet twice into this stitch and then twice into the next stitch. And then 3 single crochets, yarn over, turn, and we're going to single crochet across all 10 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So from here, we're going to crochet all around the perimeter just to neaten these edges. So we're going to do 3 single crochets up the side here. We're going to do another 9 from here to here. Then we're going to crochet across, and we've got 30 across here. And then we're going to continue back down the side, another 9 and 3 to finish. So I'm going to do this off camera. It doesn't really matter if you happen to have like a few more along the side, just make sure that you're consistent on both sides. So whatever you do here, you're going to do here for consistency. So when we're back, we're going to start crocheting our eye sockets, our nose socket. We're going to sew those in, and then we're going to do the can cozy itself. We're going to make the eye socket, and we're starting with a magic circle. So we're crossing over, we're coming under the first strand, over the second, and we're going to pull it through that circle. Now we're going to close that stitch, yarn over and pull through, and we're going to single crochet 7 into that circle. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's get a little more yarn here. Now we're going to find the end, and we're going to pull tight and close up that circle. From here we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch so that we increase. We're going to have 14 at the end of this round. I like to work in the end here so that it's totally enclosed and that circle can't open up. So just go around each stitch and insert 2 single crochets into each one. Now what I like to do is use a stitch marker so that I know where the beginning of my circle is, and for that I'm just using a simple bobby pin. So I'm going to insert it back here at the start, and I'm going to continue. This will be the last stitch of this round, so 2 more, I'm going to remove the stitch marker and put a single crochet into the next stitch. Then I'll replace the stitch marker here. And then I'll do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So I'm going to increase. Then I'm going to repeat that. So it's a single crochet followed by 2 single crochets into the next stitch. I'm going to continue that all the way around until I'm back to the start again, and then I'm going to show you how to do an invisible fasten off. So meet me right back here. So at the end of this round you'll have 21 stitches. We're just going to cut our yarn. And we've got our loop here. We're just going to pull that through. Now we can take a darning needle, you can just thread it, now this is the first stitch after the stitch we just fastened off. So I'm going to remove that. So there was the first V. We're going to come into the second V here. We're going to pull through. Now we're going to come into the back loop of the stitch that we fastened off. And that's going to finish it off. Now what we'll do is we'll just go through the back loops here and hide that end. And there, you can't really tell where you started and stopped. So I'm just going to finish weaving the tail in. We're going to cut that off and we're going to have an eye socket. Make one more and then we're going to move on to the nose. For the nose cavity, we're going to do a magic circle, cross over, we're going to come under the first one, over the second one and bring it through that loop. Then we're going to complete that stitch and we're going to single crochet twice into that circle. Now we're going to tighten that off. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're going to single crochet twice. Chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to increase. So 2 into the next stitch. And again 2 into the following stitch. Chain 1 and turn. We're going to single crochet 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1 and turn. The next stitch is an increase, so we're going to crochet twice into that same stitch. Then we're going to single crochet 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to increase, so 1 and 2 into that same stitch. As you can see, we're forming a triangle here. So let's just see if that fits our cavity here. and that's fitting well. So we can fasten off and we can sew that to the face. To sew in the cavities, I've just got a blunt needle here, and I'm just taking running stitches along the back and then catching in the yarn. So I'm taking 2 stitches in the white, coming down into the black and pulling through. And on the inside here, I'm just going to tie it off. And there's the nose done. I'm going to do the same thing with the eyes. I'll just pop that in behind and stitch around. With the sockets in place, you can start to see how this is going to form around the can, creating that 3D effect. So I've got to get my second one in place, and you just want to be sure that you're sewing it consistently the same as the other one. So I think you get the gist of that. We're going to be back to crochet the actual cozy for the can. It's time to start the actual cozy, so we're going to make a magic circle. We're going to go under the first, over the second, pull it through, and then we're going to complete that stitch. Now we're going to do 6 single crochets into the center, and now we're going to tighten that up. We're going to pull on the end here, pull it really tight, and you're going to want a stitch marker. I use just a plain old bobby pin. We're going to go into the next stitch. This is all single crochet. So we'll do our first single crochet into that stitch. We'll put our marker in. And each stitch in this round is an increase. So we're going to do 2 into that first stitch, and then 2 single crochets into the rest of the stitches in this round. At the end of this round, we're going to have 12 stitches in total. Be sure to count your stitches and be sure you've got 12. Now we're going to make a perfect circle for the bottom of the can here, and I'm just going to show you that when I crocheted this the first time, it's also a circle, but it ends up, because of the way I did the increases, it ends up looking more like a hexagon shape. So we'll remove the marker. Our next one is going to be an increase. So it's 2 stitches in the same stitch. I'll add the marker. And then it's going to be a single crochet, and that's going to be our repeat. So again, it's 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and then a single crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to pause here, meet me right back here when you've caught up. At the end of this row, you should have 18 stitches. So moving on to row 4, we're going to remove the stitch marker. We're going to do a single crochet into that next stitch. Put the stitch marker back. Then we're going to do an increase in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets. And then we're going to increase in the next stitch, and 2 single crochets. Again, we're going to increase. We're putting 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets. Increase, that's 1 and 2, and then 2 single crochets. Increase into the next stitch, and 2 single crochets. Increase into the next stitch, and you're ending with 1 single crochet. At the end of this row, you'll have 24 stitches. So row 5, we're going to do an increase in the first stitch, so that's 1. I'll replace the marker and complete the second single crochet in that stitch. And then we're going to be doing 3 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Repeat that all the way around until you get back to the beginning. So again, you're going to increase and then 3 single crochets, and you're going to repeat that all the way around. So I'm going to pause here, let you catch up, and meet me right back here. At the end of row 6, you'll have 36 stitches, at which point you want to make sure that your can is going to fit on the bottom. And this looks fine. So for this next row, we're going to be crocheting into the back loop only. So as you can see, there's this V shape here. You're going to skip the front, you're only crocheting into the back. So let's just put our marker in. We're going to crochet a total of 9. So this is 2, 8, and 9. At this point, we're going to crochet through the round and also the bottom of our skull. So you're going to take the back loop, you're going to take the first one and crochet them together. Continue in that manner, taking the back loop from the black, 2 loops from the skull, and single crocheting it together. We're going to do that for 10 stitches. And then we're going to finish off once again through the back loop only. So again, I'm going to pause, and we're going to continue on the next row when we're back. So here's how it's looking. We've completed this round. Now we're going to continue on until we have the full height of the can that we want. But we're going to continue working in both loops. So don't forget to place your stitch marker. And we're going to single crochet in every stitch around. Now I think this is going to take about 20 rows until I reach the full height of the can. And if I didn't mention it before, I'm using a 3.5mm crochet hook and 24/7 cotton by Lion brand. Better late than never. So I'm approaching where we crocheted the skull onto the bottom. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to crochet into the horizontal loop in the back. So we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, just as we would any other single crochet. The only exception is we're working through the horizontal loops of the white. Just have to catch those and complete the single crochet. So we're going to do that until we reach the other side, and then we'll be continuing on with the black as usual. So I'm going to pause the camera here. I'm going to crochet the rows that are needed until I've got the height of my can, just as we did here. As you finish the row where you crocheted into the back of the white stitches here, make sure you still have 36 stitches in the round. Now from here, you're going to be crocheting totally on the black. And this saves you having to sew your skull at the bottom. It's a lot less time consuming just to crochet it right in, and then eventually once you build up the sides of your cozy, you can stitch the rest on at the sides. So as you can see, you've got your black stitches here. You're just going to continue single crocheting right across. And like I said, it's probably going to take around 20 rounds to build up the sides. You can see the cozy starting to take shape around the can, and then what you'll eventually do is flip this up, and then you'll be able to stitch this onto the crochet fabric. Head to birdsofaFeather.ca for the pattern, which I'll leave a link for in the description and the comments. And this is how it'll look. You'll take a separate piece of yarn and just stitch around the perimeter. At the top you'll crochet it together, similar to how you did the bottom. And as you're doing that, you're going to want to take some stuffing and then stuff these areas so that you get this nice shape. You can find the full tutorial over at birdsofaFeather.ca, and don't forget to like, share, and follow right here. Want more unique crafts and DIYs? Be sure to watch another video.